So we're back with our empire building series with the All Dressed Up podcast host K Dizzle DC and Hef Streams. We'd like to welcome the beautiful Kiara Monchel who's joining us today.
Hi.
How you doing, Kiara? Welcome.
I'm good. I'm good.
Welcome.
Thank you
Welcome.
very much. Thank you very much for taking the time out and to join us with the Empire Building series where we're going to talk about some great information. So let's get right to it.
All right.
Who are you, Kiara Monchel, and what do you do?
Well, my name is Kiara Monchel. I'm a hairstylist, an author, a boutique owner, a mom, and the list goes on. I've been in the industry for almost 20 years, so got my feet wet. I'm all in.
Okay. So tell us how it all got started.
So what year was that? I guess it's '03. I went to Carver for hair. That was my trade. I went to a trade school. So
Okay.
I was blessed to not have to pay for education. I went while I was in high school. When I graduated from high school, I had my cosmetology license. So when I walked across the stage, I was a licensed cosmetologist as well. That just came with just being focused and kind of being really diligent and knowing what I wanted. But I didn't start doing hair right away. I did go to Bowie State for business management. I didn't finish. I got all the way to my junior year and I stopped going to school. I took a break because I had Jayla, which is my oldest. And then I began to get into the hair industry. So I worked at hair cuttery for
Okay.
about 5 years. I had been just an employee at hair cuttery, but I also was an assistant manager. And that helped me to just learn all different cultures. Of course, you do, African American, Caucasian, Asian, men and women. So helped me really to get into the business and understand it. And then that's when it brought me here.
That's excellent. And to hear how it all got started is phenomenal. And it sounds like you kind of knew that you had that passion early on. You
Yeah.
said you went to school and you had thought about it from then, so that was good. But while you were going to school for it, you said you weren't doing hair, so you were doing other things. So kind of
Yeah.
working and getting your craft and at
Yeah,
the same
I
time.
always knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. It wasn't, that's why I went to school for business management. It wasn't a thing. Like, I knew that I wouldn't really work for anybody. I knew I was too creative, too free to work, a regular 9 to 5. And don't get me wrong, I tried, and
Mhm.
it definitely didn't work. And,
Okay.
but business just came secondhand to me. So I don't know where it came from, but it definitely is here. So
Okay. Excellent.
So let me ask you a question. What was your biggest challenge in the beginning?
the number one challenge any entrepreneur has: customers, clients. You just don't, you might have a talent, but if you don't have nobody to showcase it on, you don't have any money. So that is the biggest challenge, and that was my biggest challenge for a very long time.
Mm,
um it's not an overnight success being a hairstylist. It's a hairstylist on every corner. So
hmm
even back then, so it's not easy. That was my biggest challenge. I remember times I couldn't make my shop rent. I remember times where I'm like, just give me 10 clients this week. Just give me, Lord, if you just give me 15 clients. So I've been there where, you might be sitting in the shop all day. So that was my biggest challenge,
mm,
establishing a clientele and getting my name out there.
mm,
Mhm.
mm. Yeah, I mean that can be challenging because you're building from the
Yeah.
ground up,
Yeah.
and definitely understandable. So let me get you the second question. Who was your biggest influence to help you like pursue that passion that you're into now?
When I influenced to start being an entrepreneur, it came from my grandmother. My
Okay.
grandmother was always a hustler, so I always my she influenced me to get into the business. She influenced me to keep pushing and just to roll with the punches. But when it comes to the industry, I have so many. I have like Damien Shark, who was the owner of Google. He started from the ground up, and now look at him now. I have real estate mogul Kiana Watson. She owns her own realty group in Atlanta. So I just don't hone in on one person. My influence is successful entrepreneurship.
Mm,
So, yeah.
mm,
That's phenomenal. That's good. It come off fast. So I'm gonna ask you a tough question here, not to
Okay.
take you to any bad spot or bring back bad memories, right? But what would you say was your breaking point, if you had one, when you were starting out, and how did you overcome that breaking point, or one of breaking many breaking points?
Yeah, I was about to say, being an entrepreneur, we'll be sitting here lying to say we had one breaking point. I mean, I'm probably in a breaking point right now. I'm not even gonna lie. So I don't. I mean, I don't know if you overcome it or you just go through it.
Okay,
I mean, pandemic, that was a breaking point. Not
that's a good
working
one.
for 3 months. Having to figure out, how are you going to market yourself? How are you going to still keep your clients engaged? I mean, but let me see. I don't. It is so many. I mean, from the summertime is your breaking point because
Okay.
summertime everybody's getting their hair braided, everybody is going on vacation and not getting their hair done. But in the sense of overcoming it, you just got to stay grounded. You got to save. You got to believe in who you believe in. If it's God, if it's manifestation, you got to just be grounded in that, and that's how you can overcome and get through it. Entrepreneurship is hard. It's not no one point that to be like, oh, it's easy, it's breezy. You have your ups and your downs, and they're going to be consistent all the way through entrepreneurship until you're done.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's why we're doing the Empire Building series, because of exactly what you just said. Everybody says that they want to do it, and you
Yeah.
just brought up an excellent point here: the pandemic. And when you started out, let's go back a little bit again. Was there any capital needed to get you going? Let's talk to those people who are ready to get started. Was there any like set budget or amount of money that you needed to get your business started?
So when I started, not really. I mean, a hairstylist, you can just go into a salon and work.
Okay.
But I did start working in hair cuttery, and hair cuttery allowed me to save. I think that's the biggest issue with young entrepreneurs. They don't know how to save. They see glamour, they see money touching their hand. You have to save. I didn't have a capital. I didn't have grants. I had my savings and I made it work for me. That's, you know, not everyone's story,
Mm,
but it's possible. I
mm,
mean, like, if you're making a certain amount of money, just set aside $20, set aside $30 until you get what you need to invest in your business. And most of the time, it'll come right back to you. You just have to put it all in. And so when it came to me working at a salon, I had enough money to buy my products. I had enough money to, leave from the security of a hair cuttery that supplied the product, supplied clientele, supplied iOS system. So, I mean, it's different. And when I started with the boutique, I didn't have grants either. I just
mhm.
invested in myself. But that came with discipline and saving. But let me not be, remiss the people who don't have that. So it's grants, it's SBA loans for black women, it's SBA loans for minorities, for black men, it's SBA loans for single mothers. It's so many different areas where you can get grants and get loans and be successful in this industry right now. Everybody wants to invest in businesses right now.
Mm.
So, and
Yeah.
also if you have an accountant, your accountant also knows, different applications that are available for you. So,
It's excellent, excellent information. Thank you.
Yes, indeed, absolutely. And like I said, one of the things that we're always finding that a lot of the same terminology, a lot of the same things that everybody's saying along the same lines, and that's what we want to continue to flesh out what the pattern is and how you guys as entrepreneurs are continuing to be successful. So, thank you, thank you, thank you.
no
We only have a
problem.
couple more questions, so let me
Okay.
give you this one, right? So, and it's the easy one. What's something that you know now that you wish you knew then?
It's a good one.
That I know now that I wish I would have knew back then. I wish I would have known that I hope I don't offend anyone, but I wish I would have known that um it's not a thing being a hairstylist at 70 and 80. Back then, I've seen hairstylists 60, 70 years old still curling. That's not a thing.
Mm, mm,
You know how people like football wear and tear on their bodies. You see they
Mm,
have brain injuries, they're in hospital, some of them are paraplegics, some people can't walk. Being a hairstylist for that long amount of time definitely is wear and tear on your body.
mm,
And I
wow.
really wish that in school they not only prepare you to be a hairstylist, but prepare you for life after being a hairstylist. Because generally speaking, you cannot be it for the rest of your life, or you're going to be in a lot of pain. So I
Mm,
definitely wish I would have known. Well, I wish I would have been prepared for another career versus now being aware of it and being like, what I'm going to do next? Because I don't want to do
gotcha.
this. Honestly, I don't want to be a hairstylist at 50.
Mm,
Because of the demand on your body, because of the demand of your household, and being a parent and being present. I miss so many things not being
mm,
present. Being like, I have a client. Oh, I can't go to that funeral. I have clients. So I
mm,
really wish they would have set me up with that in hair school. Yeah.
mm.
Mm.
Great, great answer. Great answer. And the last question now we're gonna have for you today.
The last
The
question. This
last
is
question.
easy.
See, I
Okay.
told you it wasn't. I told you it wasn't very long. Um, what would be the most important advice to give an up and coming entrepreneur like yourself? Well, not like yourself. You're 100% established. So let me ask that again. What would be the most important advice to give an up and coming entrepreneur?
Save. Stay
Mm,
grounded. Like, as a hairstylist, it's endless money you touch. You need to save. Even as an entrepreneur, being a boutique owner, being an author, you got to think about people giving you cash. You having, you know, transactions come through your phone. Save your money, reinvest, invest in stock, invest, have life insurance, have health insurance, you know, have IRA set aside. You definitely have to invest because you never know
mm,
when things go on shift. Like we just talked about the pandemic. Look what
right.
happened. We talk about, you might have 50 clients this week, you might have 10 clients next week. You definitely have to save, but also you have to have a why,
Mm.
because a why is going to keep you going. The why, why are you doing this? If you're doing it just to make money, money not going to come.
Mm,
You got to have a why. You got to have a reason. It got to be your passion. If you just doing it just to, let me just make this money real quick, it's not going to work for you. So
Mm.
definitely make sure you focus on your passion. Make sure you save. Make sure you trust in God, or make sure you manifest the life that you want. But that's the biggest thing, seriously. Because I talk to so many young people and they like, oh, I got this. But do you have a savings account? Do you have a bank account? Do you know what you want to do after this? Because nothing is long lasting. So,
mm,
yeah,
mm.
Facts, right? That's what the young people say nowadays. Facts.
Facts.
You gotta
period.
see, you gotta see it to believe it, right? And having that passion is important. And one thing I can say about Kiera, because I know her personally, is that when you mention investing, you also invest in people too, right?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
from what I've seen, you really do a great job with service, the way you treat your clients, and a lot of your clients are your friends and family, right? Like over
Hmm.
time, you build those relationships. So
Absolutely.
I want to commend you on that. But I wanted to ask you, what else before we go can you brag about? I know you wrote a book. Talk about
Yeah.
that if you don't mind. I didn't
I wrote
bring that
a
up in the beginning.
30-day business planner. It's right here. It's called My Vision God's Business. Let me see if I can fit it. It's a little beat up because this is my own,
No, it's
but
nice.
it's a 30-day business journal from start to finish. I mean, from you establishing your LLC to you getting your accountants, to you getting your lawyers involved, to you establishing your clientele, to Instagram, Facebook marketing. It has everything, and it's 30 days, but it's also incorporating. I know everybody's not super spiritual, but it's also incorporating God, because I believe that's why I'm here. So
Mm,
it's incorporating, scriptures, prayers, manifestation. It's incorporating just how to start from the bottom to establishing something. It
Mm.
could be just, I mean, I'm not saying that after 30 days you might have a fully run business, but you will have a business plan. You will have the tools needed to start your business. I also have vendors in here for business owners, like, to develop t-shirt line, to get hair products, to get your own skincare line. I have that as well in here. So it's a pretty hefty business plan. I mean, it teaches you how to edit content, logistics, capital funding, as we stated earlier. So yeah, and I do have a boutique that will relaunch in the fall, and I also have um a lipstick line. So yeah.
nice.
Busy,
Nice.
busy, busy.
Throw it
Gotta
all
stay
at us.
busy.
Where can we find everything? Go ahead and take your time and just shout out where we can find you. Your
Okay,
products.
so my website is www.kiaramonchel.com. That's KIARAMONCHEL.com. Keeping it simple.
I love it. I love it. I love it. A lot of jewels drop, a lot of gems, a lot of things to take from it. The biggest thing is, um, from what I got from this, is not only just pursuing your passion, but preparing yourself for what comes after, what
Yeah.
comes
Absolutely.
next, and being ready for the next steps along that journey. Because with entrepreneurship, it's different because when you go work a job, they give you a 401k.
Mm-hmm.
They give you a certain amount of time before you can retire at a certain percentage. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have that as an entrepreneur. It's either
Right.
most people think it's do it until death, but
Mm-hmm.
if you do it right, you
Yep.
can do it for a determinate amount of time, build your wealth, and then live the rest of your life the way you want. And that's really what it's
Absolutely.
about. Living life on your terms, and paying and getting paid what you believe you are worth. And that's the biggest
Absolutely.
thing. That's the biggest thing about it. Buying your time back and getting paid what you're worth.
Yes,
So,
because you cannot get time back. So
Kiara Monchel, you are awesome.
thank
You got your
you.
toes dipped in everywhere. You got books, you got
Yes.
boutiques, you got lipstick. I mean, have you got some of her lipstick on right now?
I don't, but I'm sure Shanae does. I'm sure Shanae does. But we love you, Kier. We really appreciate
Love you
everything you
guys.
brought.
It was amazing.
Thank you so much. And
I know, and they know, 'cause we know.